Hey, welcome back, everyone. Again, with you as always, your friendly neighborhood ink slinger. With today's episode number 12, simply known as By the Numbers. So this week, I just wanted to talk about, I guess the numerology of it all, which I don't think is a word, but we'll use it. I'll allow it for myself today. That's the second thing, of course. My bad. I'm so excited about By the Numbers. I'm a numbers guy, right? So I was like, yeah, that's gonna be probably a favorite episode of mine. And then, so the first thing is gonna be the progress, then the numbers, and then obviously I always want to, leave you off with an inspiring word. And this one I thought was, I'm probably gonna say this for every episode, but I thought it was fitting, right? And I'll explain why when we get to there. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of why we're here. The accountability. Man, these days, these have been really good days. I don't know if you saw my short or if you've talked to me about the amazing gifts that my bride showered me with this past Wednesday for my birthday. So anyways, and that, yes, this has to do with the progress. So on Wednesday, my birthday, on that day, I did not write. I took the day off. I slept in, and then I did some things that I cooked, and I took my bride to work. I picked her up. I celebrated with her. Okay, so birthday, didn't do it. Great, that's fine. No worries. On Thursday, I didn't do it. I didn't write either because Thursday, I don't know if anyone remembers, but that was the National Day of Prayer, right? So the first thing that I do in the mornings is I get before the Lord and I pray. So I had decided, I'm like, hey, no, this Thursday is the day of prayer. Instead of giving those 51 minutes to writing, I was like, I'm going to give my entire 2 hours and 24 minutes of praying, right? I'm going to be before the Lord, whether that's reading, meditating on what I read, praying, you know what I mean? Interceding in prayer for others that I know, for others that I don't know, you know what I mean? So, and I'm like, that's what that day is for. Good. Okay. So 2 days of the week, I know it's not, it's not ideal, but it happened. And then today, Tuesday, this morning, again, this is 3 days now, folks, in less than 10 days. And I think it's 4 days in 2 weeks because, yeah, I think last week I'll have to rewind and, double check. But anyways, no, yeah, in the last 7 days, or 8 days, it's been 3 days that I've taken off. Today I was just tired. I was just like, I need to rest. However, the progression of the writing is going. I believe the novel is probably at 9 3/4. And this has nothing to do with Harry Potter, so it's not his train. But so yeah, I believe I'm at 9 3/4. I think chapter 9 is almost done. Hopefully, these next couple of days I won't have any more mishaps. And then on Saturday, no, I'm sorry, that's a lie. Not yesterday. Yesterday in the evening, early evening, my bride read the last, because she reads about every other week. So she read about 13 or 14 pages from the last time where she read to where I'm at, and she said it's good. I heard her say inspired, and I was like, oh, thanks. So that's that. Now, by the numbers. So the first thing I wanted to look up is, I was like, when exactly did Without Remorse come out? And it was released on April 30th of 2021, which is the day before my birthday, right? Go figure that. That would be the movie that inspires the novel. And then I was like, well, then how many days has it been from then until today? It's been 1,103 days, right? So let's keep breaking those numbers down. All right, so let's do it by chapter. That means, right, with 9 chapters, 9 3/4, but I'm like, I don't need to get that specific. So if I divide those 1,100 days into 9 chapters, how many days did it take me to write each chapter? It took me 122 and a half days to write chapter by chapter. Yikes. That's not right. I mean, it's true. To this point, it's true. But the last 2 months, that it hasn't been at that pace, thank God, right? And then I thought, okay, so let's get even even deeper into that, right? Let's forget the chapters. Let's do pages, right? So I believe I've written 148 pages if my counting serves me right. So again, 1,103 days, 148 pages. When I did the numbers, it takes me 7.45 days to write one page. This is no bueno. If I keep that pace up, it means the novel will probably never see the light of day. Oh me, oh my. But no, that's not true. No. My progress has changed a lot. I feel like I finally have a system that works. You know, it's funny because obviously you need to be inspired first, right? So inspiration came first. And then about 2 years after the inspiration, because we're basically at year, this is the third year, 2 years after the inspiration, I created a tracker, right? So now I'm keeping track of things. The problem was that still wasn't a system of accountability, or maybe not even accountability. It just wasn't, that tracker really didn't stipulate if and when I would write. So then finally, February 5th of this year, right, 3 months ago, I came up with the system to write, right? So, you know, now I'm going to do 2 hours and 24 minutes. I'm going to give that to the Lord. And of those 2 hours and 24 minutes, the last 51 minutes will be dedicated to the writing of his novel, right? Because he's the dictator and I'm just his scribe, right? He just, you know, so that's that. Let's see, what else did I have? Okay, another thing, you know, again, because I'm a numbers guy, my question was, how do 8 verses equal 14 chapters? I couldn't tell you. I mean, I know I talked about it already, but I would have never imagined in a million. I'm like, well, it's your novel, God. So whatever comes out, comes out. And then I thought, okay, and then how many scriptures have I used? So in these 9 chapters that I have written, the 9 3/4 chapters that I have written, I have used exactly 35 scriptures, right? And they're not all one verse. They're all, you know, obviously, and I've used both Old and New Testament. You know, some are 1 or 2 verses in length, and some are actually like the entire length of that chapter, if you will. Example: when you read page 1, the first thing you're going to read Psalms chapter 101 verses 1 to 8, which is the entirety of Psalms 101, right? There's only 8 verses. And I thought it was only fitting because I'm like, you know, this is the verse that I felt inspired to use to model the book after. This is the scripture I used to create the chapters, right? The outline of it. Why not start the book that way, right? And basically the way it starts is that's what the Shepherd King is reciting, right? As he does his morning prayer, he's reciting Psalms chapter 101. All right, so that's that. Number 12. Number 13 I'm excited for. Well, yes, I'm excited, but I'm also really nervous because the number 13 is in Hebrew, it represents also love, right? And in Hebrew, in the Hebrew language, every number represents something, right? So the number 13 is love. And I was like, you know, since the number 13 is love, I'm like, well, it has to do with love. I can't just. So as of right now, the working title is going to be The Love Letter because, you know, again, as I said, this is God's book. However, if I was writing this book, for me, I believe one of the primary reasons for me to write it, it would be a love letter to all those who have served, as well as the family and friends that, you know, that support those brave men and women. So that's why I don't want to talk about it because it's a very near and dear to my heart. So I found this quote, and I thought it was perfect because it talks about discipline, right, which this book has a lot of. It talks about an army, which this is an army. It talks about a small army. This is hey, if 13 soldiers isn't a small army, I couldn't tell you what is, right? It talks about success and weak and, you know, all that good stuff. And I was like, hey, and not only that, but the gentleman who wrote it, first of all, he has a phenomenal first name. I mean, it's really strong. All right, that's enough butter. But so here it goes. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all. That was brought to you by our first president, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Washington. All right, hey folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much again for your time. As always, this has been Right on Time. George Paredes, rightfully yours. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.